Big shout out to Zarfen for the inspiration for this run. Thank you, brother. What is a one-shot? It's one shot. It's one cast, one click. And the enemy must die, or I'm out of the game. And while Zarfen chose his assassin, I thought Impale Amazon was a sure bet. Bonus damage is huge from Impale, but unfortunately it doesn't work with critical strike. So back to the drawing board. Who do we choose? Well, it's got to be the Sorceress, right? The synergies are insane for the Sorceress. Surely there's something that's got to work. Brothers, this was the single hardest challenge run I've ever done. What a journey. But it starts at the beginning with the mother-in-law. 1,000 hit points I've got to do in one hit. But with minus 50 fire resist, I think we know what we're going to be doing. But all journeys start somewhere. And ours with a dad joke, and we're off and away. So the nice thing about Sorceress is you do start with Firebolt, which I do plan to scale. Damage is terrible. But synergies, they are glorious. Look at this. Clinical strikes. Not like I was going to miss that one then, but all worked out in the end. Lovely to find an experienced shrine this early on. The early game is so much fun in this game because it just goes so quickly. You can speed it up so many different ways. Unless, of course, you mess up like I did there. As I said in the rules, guys, if I don't kill them in one shot, I'm out of the game. And that will prove very frustrating at some point. I think at this point, let's just avoid the cruel beasts. Let's avoid the old people. I mean, I'm being very cheeky. But this is more like it. Look at this group. Just a nice day out. Burn, boys. And oh, we got them in the corner as well. Got him. Level up's just flying in. And look at this damage. 4 to 7. Not really. Quite cruel beast. And old man. Capable yet. Look at this rogue from D1. Very rude, actually, as well. And look at that. We can actually one-shot a lot of these rogue... Oh. Well, we can still level up with some Fallen. We can stick our points straight into Firebolt. We could even set fire to this massage parlor. Oh, the Squirrel Shrine. I've got to be laughing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This run was fueled in part by the many frustrations. As with all epic journeys, the hero must suffer enormously. And oh my god, did I suffer in this. SHOPPING, we're shopping. What am I looking for? I'm actually just looking for Firebolt +3. It shouldn't be too difficult to find it. It might be very difficult to afford it because it's quite a few thousand. I haven't really found that much at this point to afford it. Unfortunately, I run into a minion group there and I just didn't realize. A lot of this run is me not concentrating, but the hero has to be flawed fundamentally, both physically and mentally. So yeah, there's a long journey ahead of us, guys. Oh, that's so frustrating as well. This happens so often, by the way, throughout this video. It's me trying to show off me leveling up and then messing up on that kill. Look at this poor woman. This is what happens when you defy Decker Kane in a newly built massage parlor. And look at these guys. There's some immigrant workers here looking to be paid. Yeah, that's the origin story of the Fallen, by the way. They are imported workers that Decker Kane got to run his massage parlors, but he didn't pay any of them. He just withheld their passports. But there were some nice little spots. I mean, I say nice little spots to commit some genocide. And it was nice, certainly, when we could kill the Fallen Shaman as well. But leveling up, very nice. And actually, that +1 to Firebolt just means we can maybe wear a shield if we find it. And look at this, +3 to Firebolt. It is very expensive, though. The annoying thing is, it's very easy for it to end up with multiple mods. And this is what we're after. That 2-socket. 2-socket +3 to Firebolt. That would be the dream come true. And actually now 10 to 13 gives us pretty solid opportunity to kill most things. I'm being a little bit too overconfident there. There we go, 2-socket. I mean, I'm shopping very frequently in this. I'm getting a bit... Look at that as well. Glorious cap. Stick that straight on. Shopping, 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 back and forwards. And I had a lot of shopping in this, by the way. And this is what we're after. Superior 21,000 though. It's annoying it's got so many other mods on it. I do not have anywhere close to that much money. And I need maybe twice as much. I've got some shockingly bad equipment to be able to sell. I even sold the gold cap there, by the way, because I was so adamant that getting cash was going to be important. Each of those chip gems is worth 250. Oh, we're still well off, though. I mean, I've sold pretty much everything. as I do. Just clearly, I can't count. But I went back and forth enough times to discover this little gem. Look at this, some Pluriotis austriatus. Lovely. I don't know many people who've discovered that. But yeah, or maybe I've just in the game so long, the mushrooms actually started to grow. But I wore a path between here and the shop. In between shopping, of course, getting a few more level ups. This is actually a pretty decent little spot here. These are the cairnstones, of course. Now, Rakanishi, I'm not sure about. But his minions, no chance. Pick them off. Decent experience. For a long time as well, I was getting decent experience for them. And even, I mean, that's a risky fireball, that. Oh, check me out. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't consistent. There were many times like this where I didn't kill him. But I did kill him probably 30% of the time. And I should be saving and quitting now. But look at this guy. Pure Red Dread Dancer. Incredible. And always dancing. Oh, look at this. Paniolus Finiski. There's no chance of me saying that in time. But a lot of this stuff they added in as well. There's a lot of art I discover in this particular run. So bear with me. Off to Geed. Please someone remind me to check Geed's dialogue when you kill Andariel. I forgot to do it in this run, but I read it somewhere and it looks pretty funny. Some decent stuff. A lot of this stuff look, I don't really need equipment. It's all just good stuff to sell. I'll put it on until I need to sell. But already level 9. Firebolt now, looking very strong. And look at this on the wall. Glorious. Did you expect to see this here? Some Lentinius Tigrinus? I didn't think so. What I did discover, I actually went to like a mushroom checking app and put the screenshots in. It's a whole YouTube short that I'm never going to make. But yeah, I found that mushrooms don't grow on rocks almost ever. Because they can't eat anything on a rock. But that was interesting. Oh, what's this? Syncoprenilius Macacius? I think you're right. You can tell how much fun I was having during this. No, not a lot, I'll be honest. This was pretty tough. I don't mind the early game in this at all, because it is still just a great game to play. But the limitations of this particular run, where you have to just quit, it was stress. It really was. There's a lot of time I stayed very, very stringent with the rules throughout, because I wanted this challenge to be a real challenge. And my God, I wish I cheated. It was so tough. Dread Dancer. Oh, it's still tough though. A few dancers in this. Now look, these meaty boys, no chance. They've been to the gym. But the Scroll of Infus has not been to the gym. I thought I'd just show you how fruitless that exercise would have been. But I do think with the amount of time I expect to spend in normal, it's worth rescuing Grandad from his necessary imprisonment based on the many crimes and tax evasion, fraud. I won't list some of them because it's horrific. Yeah, what he did to this village especially, horrific. It's like Walmart coming in and then closing down, and then what's left? Just blood, semen, mostly blood and semen, and a lot of massage oil. Anyway, Gem Shrine. Change the subject. Gem Shrine. Glorious Gem Shrine. Utter waste at this point. Look at this, guys. This is what happens when you don't pay them. I told this to Deckard. They'll burn it to the ground. I said to him, Grandad, they'll burn it to the ground. Did he listen? And a very convenient waypoint here. We are going to need some runes at some point during this run. Of course, it's limited what the Countess can drop. Unfortunately, the Countess has got ridiculously high fire resistance, so we're not going to be killing her anytime soon. But nice to have a decent access point pretty near to the tower, because we're going to be needing quite a bit of farming of runes at some point during this. And that might be sooner than we want. Oh, found your mum. And one thing I discovered, I didn't discover it, I just noticed it. That star that comes around you and the little like fire patch underneath, completely ignored that for the longest time. So many great details in the art of this game. And a lot of the time in this, I mean, this is why this was just a trash run. It was so tough. Every time I'm getting maybe confident, I feel like I'm doing a decent amount of fire damage at this point, but it's never enough. Thank Christ alive, we've moved on to Fireball. Now, annoyingly, the damage is lower, but only at level 1. So The synergies at this point mean immediately, once we get to level 2, the damage will be massively outclassed. And for some of these smaller guys, 2 points of fireball, look at that, up to 50 damage. And this should be absolutely glorious. Oof! Of course, there's one that decides to wander off. But that is very satisfying. Plus 2 to fireball as well. Long staff. 43k. Why me? She's got a retirement planned. The problem is I don't have enough money. I might just sell some of this. Yeah, thankfully I don't have to sell everything, just to realize I don't have enough. Not that I've ever done that before, but wow, does that jump. That doubles the damage. And that probably means we're strong enough to do the 10 of evil, which not many people say. But I'm still maybe slightly worried. 50 hit points? I didn't bother looking up how many hit points because I couldn't be bothered. Comfortable. Clinical. Confident. Other C words we don't want to mention. It's gone. And that is glorious. Now, annoyingly, you can't just put them in whatever skill you've got unlocked. I can only put more points into Fireball when I get another level up. But thankfully, Firebolt, we know, is a great synergy, so that does improve the damage somewhat. With that much damage, oh wow, what a kill. It is quite mana intensive. Oh, are you kidding me? It is quite mana intensive. But man, the damage is pretty significant. But, I mean, look, we're not even, I'd say we're maybe halfway through Act 1. We're doing up to 130 damage per hit. Confident. Not confident to kill the Smith. We might have to come back to him if we need that particular reward. A lot of the time, there's a huge amount of temptation. I mean, what am I doing there? Because I've got my had at that point, my Firebolt on left click and Fireball on right. That was a mistake. Because Firebolt is just not strong enough at this point. I wanted to see what that door opening was. It's very aggressive. Another one, this Decade's ex-wife here. Probably cleansed of any fingerprints. And look at this. Now, I'm sure I've seen this before. I don't think I mentioned it. I actually looked at this statue because I was interested to see if it was anything to do with Diablo 1 for whatever reason. But then I realized, the hell, the bear tapestry. I'll put an example up here of what the bear tapestry really looks like. But this is very cool. I'm sure I've not seen this before. Maybe I have. But yeah, it is just a legitimate copy. And what's interesting in the remaster is they just did it as well. Yeah, I'm sure it's clearly not copyrighted for being so long. Made in England, stored in France. Just the worst of all worlds. It's about time they got returned to the UK. About time we had some relics back. And the Ratmen. I mean, it's always a sad time to say goodbye to Ratmen, but they thrive on misery, as we know. Arctic binding here as well. I hate the Arctic binding because it's in a light belt and that limitation of slots. I think I even switched it out within maybe a minute. You can see it's back in the inventory. Look at this for Hobo Barb. This is incredible. Even in late game, this would be great for Hobo Barb. The amplify damage on striking is insane, and it replenishes. There they go. It's always the case. I see so many items now in a different light, having had so many different runs where different items were so important. But otherwise, I never would have looked at a javelin twice. That's what she said. But I'm just trying out Andariel at this point. Always like a little bit of a foray just to see what are the chances. One more point of fight. You never know. You never know. Or we do know, because we know how many hit points she's got. But it'd be interesting to see just as proportionate. I mean, that's not too shoddy. I mean, it isn't great. There's a long way to go. But we'll get there. And this was a nice little spot, actually. Right by the waypoint, there were these tainted. And although I couldn't kill the hero, I could kind of kite the rest of the pack around. And it's a very decent experience. Ooze Wolf, yeah, you can see I'm just short of being able to kill them. And this is actually pretty nice, like +2 to Fireball. The fact it's one-handed is pretty useful, because I could always put a shield on, which I've got here. But ultimately, we want that two-handed staff, because we're going to be making a rune word in it. So, like an absolute mad lad, already I've reset everything. And what am I doing? Inferno, Blaze, Firewall. I don't know how many people predicted that this was what I'd be using for most of this run, but the damage of Firewall is incredible. It is very expensive. It is not ideal for this run at all, for many reasons. However, that is a lot of damage, and it's over 3.6 seconds. Annoyingly, the duration doesn't change. I'm just trying this out now. I'm doing so much damage with it, I've got no concern over just clipping them. As soon as they get hit by it, the damage is solid. The mana cost, however, is very high. And if I cast it and people run through it, there is a chance if they've got enough hit points that they survive the encounter. But this was music. Look at this. What a bloodbath. But here's a good example of me thinking, this is going so well. An old speedy girl there just sprinted through it like it's some kind of joke, and I had to reset. Now, the Countess was a surprising one. She has 75 fire resist. So without Firewall, there's no chance I would have been able to do enough damage. Fireball, no chance, mate. But that much damage over 3.6 seconds, as long as she stays still, we're laughing. And we've got the Row rune, which we need. And another Row, not ideal, but not the worst. I think we might need more than one Row anyway. House, yeah, you never know. A lot of this I've not really prepped for, so I don't know what's coming. I have already used my respec, so we are kind of committed. But maybe I'll have to dual spec at some point. And this was just annoying, especially when you get all the way to the 5th level, only to ruin it. And here's a great example of me getting caught and thinking, oh, great, another reset. But yeah, for whatever reason, everyone died. There we are, the tear rune. Hold back your tears. For what is one of the best rune words in normal, in early game, hands down. +3 to fire skills. +3 to firebolt isn't useful, or the warmth really. But +3 to fire skills means for firewall, we are doing mega damage at this point. So much mega damage, I'm so confident that we'll be able to take Andariel down without any drama whatsoever. And there's the proof. Very, very easy, actually. But, I mean, to be honest, I'm very over-leveled at this point. And we've got a very long way to go. That was always going to be the easiest, as Act 1 should be. Not going to use the Umbral Disc. Whack it on the offhand. Probably sell it at some point in the future. Act 1 complete. Mother-in-law dead. Let's head to the desert. Old Bubble Butt. And his 4,000 hit points. And this time, guys, 20% fire resist. Switch to cold. 50% cold resist, which I didn't realise. So yeah, it's not like I can switch to Blizzard at some point, because that's not going to work. Or is it? No, it's not. But what we can do is continue to scale. And what the best thing about this whole area is I can actually level up a bit more. The leveling slows down so much before each act. And I'm looking here for you know what. +3 to firewall will be insane. But the chance of me finding it is very slim. And annoyingly, the exit is the other way, which means I've got full access to the local tavern, or should I say the cheaper tavern, the Desert Rain. I'm looking for magic find goods. This is what I always do. I actually only got up to 30% magic find. It took me quite a long time to get those really two crappy items, but I couldn't get a decent pair of gloves. First world problems, maybe. But yeah, this was the run into the sewers and out in the hopes to reset the shop. +1 there, it's not good enough. Actually, there's a teleport there. It's got potential to buy that. So like an absolute noob at the game, I go through the sewers the normal way and suddenly realise, what am I doing? What is going on? So let's portal. And I'll show you the weakness of the hero. Why are there so many windows, by the way, down here by the port? Always makes me feel a bit nervous that maybe recycled assets, maybe not. And always confident that I know the right way. And it's not like I ever had to portal, realizing I've gone the wrong way, back again and go the opposite direction. That wouldn't happen to me. I'm ready for combat. I'm not ready to fight these guys. I remember before I described him as a Mortal Kombat character and someone said, actually looks more like Baraka. I think maybe Baraka crossed with Peter Crouch would be my best guess. Confident that I can sprint through all of this. Not so confident when I realize the damage. Oh no, the damage is good. Quickly grab the book of skill. And then I have to get out of there, to be honest. Because those holy bolts on his death are not going to do enough damage there. Actually, I was a bit concerned, as you would be, right? That I wasn't going to be doing enough damage. Oh, I didn't do enough damage. So I learned my lesson, and dude, this is willpower. We have that many little cat boys, that many members of the cast of cats chasing you around. You want to turn around and firewall them all. But I had to be disciplined. I had to stay focused, brothers, and make our way to the maggot lair, where I'm anticipating misery because of the tight corridors. Oh, excuse me. See? Manners maketh the man, or the woman, in this case. Actually, because I'm so good at this game, I know it's probably here. It's not here. Now I'm trapped. I'm trapped on both sides. Everything's fine. I tell you what, those itchies are not doing very well against the firewall. My worry is that it's going to run out and then one of them's just going to walk in and get clipped slightly. I'm going to have to restart, but it hasn't happened yet. This actually was one of the better tactics I had. These guys tend to stop and stagger quite often. You can stagger the firewalls in advance of one another, so they're always hitting like a fresh wall. And that's not a term you thought you'd hear, but fresh wall is a term that I'm going to be using a lot now. A lot of these guys are very susceptible to fire anyway, so this didn't feel too much of a challenge. Even this hero, I need to start calling them champions. It really is triggering to some people, but man, everyone's a hero to me. Got to just learn everyone's story, man. Oh, I can't believe it. Can't believe you've done this. So I learnt my lesson. Just don't fight anything. Just run past. Grab the staff. Always be overburdened when you need to pick up something urgently. And after all of that, I was a bit concerned then he was going to survive. But look at that. Comfortable. The damage is actually insane. It's a very, very decent skill. The limitations are ridiculous. Why is there such a high cast time? I don't know. It's too much. For the fact that you have to be... For the fact that enemies move in this game and the wall doesn't... I mean, it's no Diablo 1 firewall, I'll be honest. Getting absolutely slapped there. This is like the 1970s getting slapped on my arse as I walk past all these toxic humanoids. I'm not going to assume their gender. Oh, lovely little kill there as well. Solid. Where did he have that room, we wonder? What I'd absolutely love is if the champions, much like they did in Baldur's Gate, if the champions had... That was lucky, by the way. That's me being very cheeky. But if the champions had equipment that they dropped, that maybe you could see, that you could see they had a sword, and sometimes they'd... I don't know. I just think there's a lot you could do with, like, factions. Hold on. Before we get into this is really, really stupid. We just got to hope they're not right by the door. They're right by the door. Luckily, everything was fine during that. Unfortunately, I lost a bit of the footage there, but everything was fine. But as I was saying, I thought it'd be really interesting to see, like, if you had factions in this game that could grow and wane the more you kill them, and if you kill too many, then their equipment starts getting a bit crap and the loot gets worse. But if you don't kill them, then they kind of start thriving and growing, and then their equipment will get better, and they can do things like drop like room word items that they're holding on to. I think that'd be really cool. And I would take great pleasure, by the way, in burning everyone to the ground in this room. Even this little skelly boy is not going to survive. You can't see the guy in the dark there. He definitely died. 626 up 2 for firewall. Very decent. Still no decent gloves. Cave leapers. I will spare you the many clips of me trying to kill cave leapers. They were the worst creature to try and hit with a firewall, because they did, even when you hit them, they get knocked back. So I ended up not trying to kill them at all. Very generous map, actually. Look at this, right next to the level 3 entrance, exit, entrance, exit. I'm actually not sure, but this was a miserable room. The problem is I couldn't at this point jeopardize what was a great map with just poor gameplay, because I know what happens. I throw a wall down, and even then I'm like, I kind of want that wall to run out before any of them walk through it. I have a quick check with my mouse there, actually. This is me being quite disciplined. I could have just not moused over, but I felt like I had to just mouse over just to double check. And actually, when you separate a lot of these guys, a lot of the time you stand still and then start picking things off from a distance. That's the way to do it. But you do get very badly beaten up during that. And as a sorceress, don't like getting slapped on the ass that much. And once again, this is an absolute tutorial of how to do this particular map. Rare that I actually bother killing anything, but some of those guys, the damage I'm doing is so decent. And even those heroes, not a chance. I was being a little bit cocky here, because I seem to remember in another run having quite a clever little route around here. It's not a good way to go at all, especially with Fire Eye just being in here. But look, I thought, I'm going to have to kill the guy, but I definitely want to get the waypoint because I don't have to do that run again. So let's get the waypoint. Let's go back and teach these men some manners. Peter Crouch there, the leader. Peter Crouch is an English footballer, by the way, which might not translate. I imagine some of you guys, maybe a lot of you guys watch from Germany. About 10% of my viewers from Germany. Maybe you guys are aware. But the soccer fans in the US and Canada, all three of them, probably aren't that bothered. So what have I ended up buying at the shops? I've actually bought a teleport staff. Not very often as a sorceress do you bother buying a teleport staff. However, I was very concerned that even the 2 skill points that I have to invest to get the teleport skill, I might need at some point desperately. So I did not want to fail this run just because I didn't have those 2 skill points. So we're going to have to suffer. It does feel very strange having a teleport staff on Switch, but something I know I can get used to for the cause. Now, I actually found the summoner on the second run, or second attempt, second compass direction. Unfortunately, those hell guys with their fire resistance just screamed right through the firewall. Now, the good thing is, because I killed him the first run, I just need to run around and read his diary. Hearing his cackle really reminds me of Mick Dagger and the total misery I had, which was the most miserable run until I did this one. This was, like I said at the beginning, this is the hardest run I've ever done, and you will see why. Gorebelly in the way of me finding this glorious orifice sticking out of the ground. And you know what we've got to do. When you see an orifice, you've got to ram something hard, some hard wood in there. Now, once again, just going to have a quick look, just a quick goosey. We'll see what Juriel's got. And I'm just a bit concerned that I might get closer than I want to. And I'll be annoyed if it was really close. We'll get the skill shrine from Act 1. And we'll try it out. 3.6 seconds. That is very acceptable damage. And I feel like with a bit of... I mean, to be honest, the big thing that's going to make the difference is the shopping. If we can get staff, a firewall, then that might even be enough. Maybe... Oh, I mean, these guys... It was so frustrating. Intermittent... Men don't like shopping at the best of times. Okay? Let's be honest. But having to do that, and then having that incredibly frustrating farming process. My God, look at this Crusher as well. He's basically going to die from his wounds anyway. And every time I wanted to show a level up, I got punished just by being lazy. The Hellcats were great, by the way. When you did get a big set of Hellcats, they were the easiest things to farm. I did actually find this amulet as well. It's not particularly useful at this point, but we'll hold on to it. There's a lot of farming that happens in here. And actually, a lot of sets that get semi-completed, so we never know what's going to come from anything. This looks like an incredible farming opportunity. But what I've since realised is there's never going to be enough damage because they're too clunky and big. So the bigger the group, actually the more disappointing the kills were. So even here, where I know the Hellcats are great fun, I know the pack I'm getting is too big. And there's always going to be someone that survives. But it's quite satisfying. I actually realised that I was going to die here, so thought I'd better save and quit. Down to, yep, can you see it? 2 life there. Never any doubt. Never doubt. Never died on normal. Never will. You'll never see it. Sometimes I hire actors to do it for me. Oh, we did. What? That's right. It happened. We found it. Can you believe it? It was so jubilant when I found this, by the way. This took hours and hours of my life that I'm never getting back. But we got it. This pretty much is the weapon for the entire run. So it was so important to get it. Of course, I didn't have the runes to be able to actually make the rune word in, and I went straight back to the Countess on Players 8, which is what I was farming on. So back to Players 1. Very, very comfortable kills now on Act 1. And this is the true cost of bringing Deca Cain on this journey. These are, of course, Deca Cain's underpants, his various loincloths in states of disrepair, often barely covering anything. And of course, anyone in debt to Deca Cain, he insists has to wear a pair. Oh, what's that sign? I'll have a look at that in a second. Just need this woman to turn around. Excuse me. As you can see, she clearly owes Deckard something. Probably she broke something at the massage parlor. But look at this little sign here. It definitely says Joshua. I mean, maybe I did some research and found someone called Joshua who may have worked at Vicarious Visions. I'm not going to say that. But solid effort there, Joshua. We found your little contribution. Subtle, but not too subtle. Yeah, very cool. I love stuff like that. First time I actually noticed that. No, I was really struggled to find a tier rune. Found this epic table someone found. Should be a 23% chance of finding a tier rune. I did not have that kind of luck. But here we go. Leaf number 2. We know what it does. It's the +3 to firewall we want. +3 to firewall and +3 to fire skills. Yep, that's right. So +6 to firewall. How much damage are you doing now? 858 is what we were doing. Now we're up to 112. So it's 325 damage. If that doesn't excite you, then there's something wrong with it. Maybe this will. Yeah. It's the snake cord. Yeah. Stick it in the bin. Do you wish a lot of these items had level scaling? And this is real time. I'm pretty much the world record holder in cubing gems and organizing stashes. Incredible. Look at that. Jordan Peterson would be proud. For whatever reason, I was inspired. I think it was someone on my Discord was mentioning the origin stories of some of the Diablo 1 characters and said that Bloodraven is, of course, the rogue from Diablo 1. And I thought, I think I knew that. But let's go and have a look. I'm just off the back of playing Diablo 1 quite a lot. Definitely you can see, I mean, you can't see there because behind a tree, but I'll put a picture up. You can see a lot of that is very traditional Diablo 1 archer outfit. And with us being so close to a level, I thought let's just get one more level, make it 100% chance of killing Juriel. Love it. Love the scimitar. Hate the betrayal from the scimitar. I had to restart. Yeah, easily my favorite creature from the game. This was, you can see like one of the tactics. I'm getting much better at this point. I'm doing a lot more damage, which means it's a lot easier to do it. I actually had such a good time and such an easier time leveling with doing so much more damage. I stayed and leveled more than once. It's just so much fun when you finally do enough damage that everything in the act just gets completely obliterated. There's no more of that pain of them walking through the firewall. We do more than enough damage now for everything in Act 2. We just got to hope we do more than enough damage for the main man himself. So we're getting into position here. I've identified that there's a shrine. It's very, very busy there. It's like a restaurant you used to like, and then it suddenly got really popular. It's not quite the same. Very, very busy. But that's not going to be a problem because I'm so high skilled. As you'll see. I'm a bit scared here. Okay, fine. Here we go, the moment of truth. I'm not loving its diagonal. Do you know what? I think because it's diagonal, I think we were lucky. That's all I'm going to say. I think we're lucky because there's such big character models anyway that it didn't matter that I ended up casting it at an angle like that. And that is quite an important thing to make sure I don't do because the damage is less at an angle. Okay, interesting. Cannot be frozen could be pretty useful in the future. Very important for Baal. I'm not really sure how important it's going to be, but you never know. Well, actually, Berserker's Hallway. Duriel's not too bad for drops these days. I don't know what's happened to him. And of course, if you don't go around, this was one of those things. You have to go around and kill every bug. I'm not going to kill all the small bugs, but I thought, I wonder what happens if you kill all of these little bugs in here. Maybe they've put something in the game. And I was like, no, they wouldn't have done that. And then once you say it, you're like, well, I'll just do a few on the way here. This one clearly got some dodge. I went round. This one I couldn't get. And I was like, oh, they must have put that one there just to troll you. But yeah, I was kind of hoping Joshua's name would be on this stone as well, but it's not. But anyway, look. Act 2 done. Act 3. Third challenge awaits us. Mephisto. 6,000 hit points and 33% fire resist. Man, we are in some real trouble. Yeah, that's Bony Boy. Paddy there. I haven't got time for Paddy. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to restart walk through Act 3 just because one of those flesh beasts or whatever they're called managed to escape my firewall. So let's skip through this. And I'll tell you what, with a Staff of Teleport Act 3 is passable. It's a passable level of misery, which this run was a passable level of misery. The thing is, now it's over. I won't tell you how well I did, but now it's over. I still feel quite miserable from it. It was so tough. But there are moments in every journey which are meant to be difficult. In this one, it was the whole journey. But at least I didn't have to trudge through the misery of this particular area because I could teleport through it. And this is not sped up too much, I'll be honest. So within probably 2 minutes, I'd got a few waypoints and I was on my way. You think gold on the ground? We're uncuirassed. Get a waypoint. We'll keep going. I mean, it's not cheap doing it this way because, I mean, mana potions aren't cheap. But we've got the cash at this point because I've farmed so much. We're actually doing pretty well financially, thanks for asking. Straight to this guy. Talk didn't stand a chance. Unfortunately, one of the guys, I think it's Gelab Firefinger, is fire enchanted. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to kill him. So, but we'll also want to keep the Trav guys alive because otherwise they'll start running away. The Zakumarites will start running away from me, and that could be really frustrating because they're likely to run through a firewall quite fast, which might not kill them. Zark the Burning. Oh, of course he'd do that. He's just the worst. He's such a twat.
I don't sense any magic about this item.
Ruin Temple. I know what I need to do here. I need to smash through this as quickly as possible. I did this whole act.
I can't.
At least the quality. Oh, look at this little area getting stuck in. Kind of hoped I'd run out of mana there and then legitimately be unable to move. I think that's happened before somewhere. I know this spot's in Act 4 and also in Act 1 in like the jail, maybe. We're just grabbing that book and we're going. Oh, God. He's just such a dirty old man. Dirty old man. That is another very UK reference, but never mind. And it's also a terrible impression, so it's not David Bowie. David Bowie, as you might have thought it was. So I'm not even going to explain it. It's so old-fashioned. I'm so cutting edge with my memes. I'm quoting shows from the 1960s, I think. For an audience that's mostly American as well. There you go. That's why you're here. You're learning, right? You're learning what a man is willing to put himself through for your entertainment.
Impossible.
Well, I'm very busy here as well. Right on top of the chest. Almost sitting on the chest. Now, part of me is a bit worried. I think these skelly boys... Problem is that they are going to be tethered to the boss, so I'm not sure if they will pursue me. Grab the heart. That's the most important thing. To be honest, am I bothered about killing him? Yeah, he's standing still. That's what you get, mate. Onwards to the Flare Jungle. Mom? Dad? Yep, that's it. Mum and Dad boiled in their own piss. One of the saddest stories, lesser known stories. I think Decker Kane was spotted boiling that, but adding collecting firewood in the area as well, just before Mum and Dad went missing. So maybe he saw what happened. I love the extended lore that I subject you all to. But Mum and Dad boiled their own piss is one of my favourites. I think I'm going to save an exit there, which is really annoying, but down 4 hit points. Never any doubt in your mind that I'm going to survive. I do want to get the Gid bin just because it is quite good fun, and I really messed up there. I did actually grab the Gid bin and save exit, and I shouldn't have done. I think that might have been a bit cheeky, but I didn't see it at the time. I absolutely promise, because once you kind of sacrifice to a certain point, that ring as well. Once you sacrifice to a certain point, it's a sunk cost fallacy at this point. I've been so disciplined up to this point. There's no point giving it up. That is a wild room, by the way. Now, look, Firewall is actually very satisfying against these guys. But once again, I'm quite concerned they're going to run through it very quickly. Or just clip as it's disappearing. Oh, that is an soul killer. Soul killer by name. Soul killer by nature. I need to remain disciplined and just teleport through all of this. Just get out of here. I think, like, this map to me is still quite confusing in my head. I've got an idea of the way it's like level 2. I know it's just persevering in one direction and then persevering in another direction. And it should, I think, just be one more to the right and then down. But maybe it'd be better if I just came at a different angle. This map I've got no idea about, to be honest. I assumed it was straight to the top. There are actually quite a few. I can't remember when I did this before. There was one run where I thought and maybe it was Poison Dagger. I was so desperate not to have to run through the whole thing because it was so dangerous getting through the early part on hell difficulty. I went to somewhere to try and find every map of the Flare Dungeon, level 3, and I literally couldn't find the map that I was on. And Ndugu here, I think, is one of the very only fire immunes that I'm going to come up against. Foreboding, maybe foreshadowing. Now, there's a lot of wild activity here. It's a real, party. It's a real frat house, this. I've decided it's definitely a frat house. But anyway, this frat house is going to be one I'm going to completely ignore. Golemdad, I know I can't kill. They're also they love running away. They love running past. They love healing each other. There's no point me even trying. Jump in, smash the compelling orb, get out. Just leave them to the party, man. Not many girls at that party, to be honest. Not a very popular fraternity, that one. Oh, solid waypoint as well. Now, at this point, you might think, oh, he's just spending all his time telling... Yeah, I am. Yeah. Because I know by the time I get here... Because this is kind of like the fun part of the content. You know, you get to see the different maps and stuff. It looks cool. This is the fun part. The part that's not fun is me having to grind, which, well, talking frat parties, you don't want to see me have to grind. You don't want to see no girls turn up and then me have to grind just to keep the lads entertained. So look, we're just trying it out. Well, okay, that's maybe over half. Maybe slightly better. Yeah, it's just over half. It's better than I thought. Not great. But what is good fun? It's always good fun doing this. This is kind of like a bit of a holiday during the run. A bit worried he wasn't going to die there. But we're in Lower Karast. These are always treasure chests. The ideal map would have 3 of these little campfires. I think you always get 1. You can get 2. Look at those. But look, what am I going to do here? I'm going to collect all the loot I can. I get a little bit of experience. I actually played this on Player 7. People say don't bother playing on Player 7. But look at this. It's great for experienced Player 7. And doesn't impact the chest drops annoyingly. A lot of rubbish. There were a lot of these wands, by the way. I'm going to call them... What should I call them to annoy people? Wizardess wands. There's a lot of Wizardess wands. Someone update the wiki. Which I found. And they were all universally shockingly bad. A lot of them had almost nothing on whatsoever. Look at that. 9 to life, 10 to... What's that? 9 life repairs durability. And, I mean, it's all stuff to sell at this point. We're going to need a lot of gamble money. 11 magic find. That's not bad. A little bit of resist. It's nice just, stocking up on resists. A few of these, I mean, I'm getting this just because I like filling up an inventory full of stuff. 2 socketed. Now, I think I did put this on until I realized that it had attacker takes damage. I don't realize that at the time. I get really excited and have to switch back. Luckily, I didn't get rid of that armor because I did have to switch back. Ickle Sting. These are some of the more cool, unique items I found. Tando. Cannot be frozen. I mean, to be honest, I'm never going to use any of this melee stuff because my staff is two-handed and so good. And typical ethereal chances. Not the best magic find you've ever seen on those, but better than nothing. Better than the gloves I've found so far. Charms were awful. And of all this jewellery, I mean, I don't know if Decker Kane's going to pick it up at the shop once I sell it, but there was nothing here whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. There's some interesting lightning resist. I thought, I don't know why, because I've clearly just seen Mephisto and it was fine. But I thought just in case, for whatever reason, it goes badly wrong after this. We've got 50 lightning resist in the stash, just in case. I mean, this is a 1% upgrade to magic find on one of those rings, and that's about it. And we'll keep the jewels. I mean, there are some crafting recipes with jewels. I don't know them off the top of my head. I think I probably need hell items, so the chance of me needing those are very, very slim. And some real-time inventory management. The most important part of the inventory management is how many gems I collect, and then never play the character again. Just have all these gems sat there organized in so many different inventories. I did at one point think, oh, you know, I'm doing enough damage now. Maybe let's farm Trav. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Did find the Beverett Keep from Trav, which was pretty good. I mean, if it's in my hands, I really can't be using it. So this is as good as I got. 29. I got a bit frustrated because it took so long to get here. But 3 points into Firewall. Wow. 1,800 damage we're up to now. Huge. Is it enough? Well, it's certainly enough to go back to Juriel and see what I can do to him, to his big bubble butt. And this is the kind of drops I'm used to seeing. I actually even go back to, I mean, I'm so bored of doing the same little areas now. When you farm for like 3 levels anywhere, it's pretty grim. And Dariel actually have much better drops than anyone, especially because I was playing on a decent players level. I was players 8. But the big thing is Fire Mastery. It's so good when you get it. My damage has shot up so much. And this was actually the best farming spot I had. These champion ghouls were incredible. And that's a really good example of how I got terribly screwed over by them. But they were quite consistent in terms of them turning up in this particular area. And once the firewall damage was high enough, they died pretty comfortably. I thought I'd show this absolute anomaly. What is this? Must be something extremely heavy on that side of the box. I don't think I've seen that before. Few things. I mean, look, this is me farming not optimal farming zones. And the kind of quality of loot you get is pretty dreadful. Eyes and hearts. I mean, it's not even worth pissing in that. Hazarus. I need to see it. Hazarus's belt. I've read that word so many times and never actually read it, you know? But anyway, that's pretty useless. Pretty bad. I mean, these are going to be terrible as well. Faster cast rate. I don't really need faster cast rate, I'll be honest. If I was maybe on high difficulties, it would almost be a requirement just for survivability to kill things quickly enough. Lovely little level up here. And it wouldn't be a level up without me leaving someone and having to save an exit. This is the same footage from before. Just wanted to talk about Fire Mastery. 30% bonus fire damage and then 7 for every other level. So, man, it was so big when I got this. I'm going to show it to you twice. But it's going to be the difference. It's so much extra damage because of the +3 to fire skills. It's not 30% extra damage I'm doing with 1 point. It's 51 mega. And this is not going quite the way I planned. That was 7 hit points at 1 point. I think this might be a good time just to get the hell out of the jungle and into hell. See you, lads. 4th challenge, the Big D himself. What? 14,000 hit points, and that fire resist is ludicrous. But I tell you what, guys, I'm gonna resort to showing you once again my favorite cozy corner and how they butchered it in the remaster, because Diablo was not the biggest challenge at all. There's a lot more horror, misery to come, a lot of gambling, fruitless gambling. Look at this. This is probably the first time I've ever checked this many belts and not had a single rare. That is bad luck as far as I'm concerned. Oh wait, I got one. I did get one rare. I'm a fool. But I spent enough money there, which I don't really have at this point. There you go. There's your tip, you miserable crook, you filthy animal. The old classic tactic here. Actually, I thought I'd just try it out. I'm near enough to town. If I restart, it's not too much of a problem. Just to see how much damage I can do. Comfortably kill everything. Now I am in the new act. It's once again the problem of if I cast the firewall and they walk through it, they might actually not die. But let's just sprint straight to the City of the Damned. And then let's go to where I believe Israel is going to be hiding. I'm not sure if he's going to be easy or difficult. Oh, he's going to be very difficult. That's annoying. I actually thought I was going to do enough damage to kill him quite comfortably. But that's maybe only 70%? No, this is only the beginning. This was my attempt at some harder difficulty levels. And to farm some equipment, not worth it. Not worth it for that. At this point, again, I didn't realize that armor I had attacker takes damage. I think it took some time. I wasn't getting hit though, guys. You know me on normal. Look at that tri-res helm. That's cool. Let's put it in the bin. And I found Miller Breaker's orb. It's just a great shield, this one. Nice to have it on Switch. Annoyingly, it's really annoying to have on Switch. Don't have a lot of room. This was a lot of the farming I had to do because I was really annoyed that Israel couldn't get killed. So I did a huge amount of farming. It was so difficult and felt so pointless after so much of the farming I already have to do. But these are some of the great stuff. I love this item, Null Striker. Crushing Blow is insane. I'm actually going to keep it just because it's so cool. What else we got? You can see that I've got chances in the bottom left there, which I switched in. Because they're ethereal, I didn't really want them to break, so I couldn't wear them all the time. Some absolute rubbish here. Berserker's headgear, I mean, there's no point. Dust Deep is a decent find. That is a nice helm. 15% resist all. It's actually got damage reduced by 7, which is very nice for normal as well. And the Coif. not a good name, Coif. Don't ever call your son Coif. Unless he's done something really terrible. Eyes and Hearts again. You wouldn't even defecate in it. It's not worth it. And trying to get, and again, of course, then I realized the attacker takes damage. Definitely don't want that. Have I noticed the attacker takes damage on my armor yet? No, I haven't. Oh, tri-res boots. That's always cool when you find that. Always cool. That's the like kind of holy grail of boots. Is tri-res, faster run walk. Always good to find a wand. Always good. So cool. So much there you could do with. The problem is, it's just finding a lot of this stuff consistently. I would love them to implement a system where you could kind of work towards building credits towards a specific item. I think they do that quite well in Diablo 3, but nobody likes me complimenting Diablo 3, so I won't do it too much. I'm not talking too much about these items. I mean, gloves here, Blood Fist, pretty good, 40 to life. But there's not much else there I'm really going to use, so... The nice thing about this build is it's very simple. I just need to do more damage. So all of this like resistances stuff, I mean, it's superfluous really in normal. I can survive without any resistances, really. You know my skill level as well. But this was the kind of fun I was subjected to. Grotesques, fine. The Erders, absolutely fine. No issue whatsoever. River of Flame, pretty confident, comfortable. Damage is more than enough, really. I'm getting a little bit close to Diablo already, which makes me feel pretty confident. Oh, this pack is insane. I'm not sure, they're not going to bunch up as much as I want. And they're doing a lot of damage to me. But the tactic of just sitting there, they're going to keep attacking me. Of course, one of them. And I actually lost the charm there. I was that disciplined during this. There were some items it was crippling, but I had to say no to it. Now, the dilemma here is, do I go for 7% extra damage or do I go for Firewall? Always Firewall. We've got to max that skill out. It's going to make a massive difference. The damage, as you can see there, very decent. I still haven't killed Iceman. Val Kilmer. Do you know what? I love Val Kilmer. I mean, I know he's not with us any longer, but I absolutely love the guy. And I mean, George Lucas, we all know George Lucas. We know he's so influential in creating the best fantasy series of all time, Willow. Yeah, you're right. Val Kilmer in Willow, peak cinema. The movie still holds up today. The jokes are still funny. It hasn't aged. It's not woke. It's none of that like rubbish. It's a solid fantasy action film, and it holds up well today. Go and watch it. You won't regret it. I'm not sponsored. Have I watched the TV series that they had on Disney Plus? Of course I didn't. Why would I ruin the legacy? As I have done actually with Star Wars. And I've got to say, Mandalorian, Chef's Kiss, peak cinema. Andor I haven't watched yet. I've heard it's brilliant. I have watched maybe some of the other... What was the other, like... Anyway, let's not get too bogged down in what's wrong with Disney these days. I think we all know. But they'll soon realise. He hopes. I'm not just shouting into the wind, but I hope they realise. With the IPs they've got, man, they could really do some fun stuff. But I saw, like Aliens is a classic example of a franchise they've absolutely ruined. Israel, why are you still so tough? Unbelievable. The hardest thing was actually getting him on his own. And I thought there must have been something wrong with that particular firewall. Nope, I still don't do enough damage. So back to more farming. I think actually it might be more fun farming the Chaos Sanctuary. Was it? No, not all the time. Up to level 34 with some few points to spend. To be honest, I actually need vitality. It's tougher than I wanted to be at this point. What else am I going to put it into? It's got to be firewall. Apologies, by the way, that my mouse is not entirely aligned. The resolution on this computer is just impossible to get right. It just doesn't record properly. So I'm sorry if that slightly annoys you. My mouse should be slightly lower. It is slightly lower in real life, but for whatever reason, it's recorded it wrong. But there you go. By the by. A doll rune. Now, no idea what I'm going to do with that, but nice to see something different. Having to cube quite a few things here, and you'll see why. I need more plus to skills, so I'm going to have to get some runes to do that. 44 mana it's costing now. Oh my god. It's not for the faint heart, I'll be honest. Firewall, to me, needs a lot of rework to make it viable. I know that it is still quite decent damage for like a dual spec creature. I made the real mistake there of doing Israel on like players 8 or whatever in order to farm up before. So this is players 1, skill shrine, city the dam, 7 teleports to get to the plains. You don't need to count them, trust me. 2 more down. Might be worth walking at this point, but I can't be bothered. I'm just jumping straight in. I don't want this skill shrine to run out. This is actually quite a nice set of enemies here as well. The worst thing is to get the Venom Lords. There are some up there. Is it going to be enough? Yes, we got it. Okay. That was pretty close, I've got to say. Very, very close. That's with the skill shrine as well. But man, that is a very, very big boost. So I can not only put some more points into Firewall, I think, which surprises me slightly. I think I can only put 1 point in, just because that point I put when I got to level 30 into Fire Mastery. So I think I put 1 point into Firewall. Very nice. Other spare point, I think we know where it's going. Fire Mastery, 7% extra damage. I mean, that's up to 5,387. Now, the issue I had here is I did all that skill shrine on, and I was like, wow, that's huge. Until it wore off, and I couldn't understand what had happened. Level 36, that's very high for Act 4. But why am I looking at this skill tree? Why am I even hovering over Cold Mastery? Why am I looking at Blizzard? I tell you why. The real 4th challenge to this run, the Grand Vizier. 812 hit points. He is immune to fire. Now, how many years have I played this game? A lot. Why on earth did I not realize that there are fire immunes on the journey through normal? I don't know. I'm buying here a +3 to Blizzard staff in the hopes that this is going to do it. I'm farming equipment. I'm finding runes. This soul rune is actually a very, very decent find because I was desperate for that. I'll show you why in just a moment. But here we are. Grand Vizier of Chaos, immune to fire. It didn't even show the blizzard. It was so sad. It's like the blizzard evaporated. It did nothing. With a lore rune word or on the soul rune, we get a +1 to skills on the helm. Now, does that help me at all? Well, not really. What am I doing here? That's right. I'm getting equipment to get us piling to maybe be able to kill the Grand Vizier. I am in real trouble at this point. Consecrated Pike there gives me some hope. Maybe with a rare pike with consecrated and enhanced damage, I might be able to get a hireling from Act 2 to do enough damage. But I am terrified at this point that I've just completely misread. That's actually some pretty decent guys here. I'm looking for anything. I'm looking for, I mean, to be honest, anything here. Oh, there you go. So 8 to 19 cold damage. That's the kind of helm I'm looking for. That extra damage from a helm to help subsidize. Chuck it on the floor there for the time being. 12 to max damage. Skill levels that I don't need. 7 to 22 cold damage. So there's a few things. I mean, I don't really have enough money to be gambling that much. Dusk Deep has +7 to maximum damage. Max is not ideal, but maybe it's max I need to be pushing for because I've just got to get lucky. So you can see here, for the first time, guys, in almost any video I've ever made, I've got a mercenary. Durga. Durga has an incredible body. 48 to 64 damage. This is the best I could do. 7 to 22 cold damage. 1 to 20 lightning damage. Not great. And he has attack takes damage, which I wasn't happy with, I'll be honest. And this pike, 91 to 286 damage. Now, they have jab, okay? The Amazon jab is 3 times. Durga's jab is only 2 times. This is ChatGPT, the various logs I made to try and get some understanding of whether this was possible or not. Guys, this was just ridiculously... So what I had to do, come here, Act 3, kill Durga. Sorry, Durga, he had to die. I couldn't risk him accidentally clipping a creature and not killing it. Off I go, teleport round, Chaos Sanctuary. Hope to dear God I was able to kind of clear the spot without messing it up. That wasn't 100% chance. Kill all of these Stormcasters. This was an absolute nightmare, guys. Absolute nightmare. Because again, they love running around. They're also tethered to the boss, of course. So, of course, gets to a certain point, they run back home. The damage I was doing was very, very decent. Consistently best strategy, often getting hit by them, and then leaving the Grand Vizier. Doesn't matter that I hit the Grand Vizier, I did 0 damage. Now, in my head, I'm like, what? Have I done enough? Am I missing something here? Even with a lower resist start, like Wand, I would not have been able to do... His fire resist is so high, it wouldn't have even scratched him. He still would have been immune. Oh my God, it's nowhere near enough. And then, of course, every single time, I'm like, oh, maybe it's the case. And I'm doubling down here on fire during this whole time, by the way, because I still need to do enough fire damage to kill Diablo. Guys, do not underestimate the misery that I had suffered for your entertainment having to run this, and I still had no idea if it was possible or not. There are a few points I gave up. I know I need to do at least 800, maybe probably 850 on a really good RNG. And with Jab, with all of the items we've got, up to 286, I need him to hit high. I need the hit points to be low. I'm traveling back to Act 1 to proc his aura, and I still can't do enough damage. And I had no idea what to do with my life. Then he only hit once. So many attempts, not to be underestimated. This great example. I ended up leaving one. I don't want him to hit and not do enough damage. He does enough damage. This, I'm like, I don't want him to just do a single attack because he's slightly out of range. This was just so stressful, the whole thing. It was such a build-up, and it wasn't even guaranteed that I'd get here because the Chaos Sanctuary just was, some of these creatures had such a high chance of not getting killed by my firewall for whatever reason. So this was all of the farm I ended up doing. Guys, you have no idea how much effort this was. But I thought there must be something I'm missing. Some item that can improve his damage to help me out. I was getting eyes and hearts. I was getting every single item under the sun. Crush flange, bricks, so many good items for the right run. All this crushing blow, nothing I could do with it. Blade Bone there's got 100% damage to undead, but who's going to be able to do damage? And Act 2 Mercenary's got no chance of getting close to the damage. Soul, I think, oh, this is fantastic. But look at the damage on that. 13. Compared to a pike. I'm up to 110 on a pike. And that low point of that damage is 13. This was super stressful. So I was in a really dark place at this point. As I suppose heroes... I'm calling myself a hero in this environment. But yeah, as heroes are at certain points, this was the hero's lowest point. Look at that ring as well. This is from Andariel. I thought this was going to be big. It was not big. 25% extra magic fine. I thought, oh, that's pretty good. But it's the mods you don't read normally. Attacker takes damage. On Nagelring, who would have thought? I've gone absolutely mad here. I'm gambling for light plates. And actually, Biggin's Bonnet, I thought. 30% enhanced damage. That's it, we've done it. It made almost no difference. I'm gambling in the hopes to find Heavenly Garb. That's what, 1 in 2,000 chance. I'm throwing that much money away in the hopes to roll something because that has 50% extra damage to undead. This is what I had to look at. Pike after pike after pike in the hopes, please. But look how much damage increase that is. I mean, it's better. Slightly better. 116% damage to undead. 32% enhanced damage. I'm up to 299 on the best roll. So 299 with jab on the best roll. And it still wasn't enough. That is crippling because that's terrible. Over and over and over again, guys. Eventually, I get some like weird luck and I think, wait, that could be pretty good. Now the question is, what do I put into this pike? A 2-socketed ethereal pike. It's great base damage. None of these runes are really going to do anything at all. I could put in perfect diamonds. That has us plus 68% damage to undead. I don't think that's going to be enough. In the end, and I actually find a 3-socket pike and I think, okay, that opens out maybe some more options. It's not ethereal, which would have been fantastic. I try it so many times. It's so painful. I end up cubing up to an am tier. I think I've got that right. I better just double check. I actually can't do that in my stash, which is quite annoying. I suppose it's to prevent you just moving things around. Am tier strength. Now we know this is good. It's only 35% enhanced damage. It does have crushing blow. And actually I found the face of horror, which 50% damage to undead. I didn't even think of this as an item. But with that, maybe all this time training on trying to beat the other two guys, because I was doing Grand Vizier first. And then I had Lord Decease and Ventar to do after this. So even if I get lucky, it still might not be enough. And that is dreadful damage. This is not a one-shot build. This is going very badly. I will be pretty honest here. I was at my lowest, and I honestly thought I've made such a massive miscalculation. The best I could do with putting what's extra strength runes in and that terrible jewel was to up the damage by just a tiny fraction. But with everything combined and with all that extra damage to undead, surely with low hit points, you can see he's not got his aura on as well. I'm getting lazy. It's such hard work. We'll try to go back to Act 1 just to get his aura up, just to make sure he guarantees both hits. And then somehow the miracle happened. And it definitely... Yes! I rewatched this many times. As soon as I did it, I rewatched the clip and I was like, that was definitely one jab skill, definitely 2 shots. And now my heart is pumping. I was so excited. You can see that I'm pressing button. I just want to zoom in, but I'm so excited, terrified. I even go back and like, no, Durga's still alive. I'm sorry, Durga. Thank you for your service, but he had to go. And this was nail-biting stuff, guys. I don't know how lucky I was at that point, but it felt like I was very lucky and I could not squander it. Please, we just want him to stop. Somehow they all died in one firewall there. Okay, a lot of that was good training. I actually found 3 parts of the angelic set at this point, and that gives me +1 to skills and 75 to life on that amulet, which I didn't realize. Very decent. But we're down to the wire here. I am, honestly, I cannot describe the fear in my heart. How on earth am I supposed to get this guy? I see an opportunity. Please. Oh my God, thank God. It was horrible to be going through this. And now, as I gaze out, I want to throw myself in with the rest of Eisenhart's set. I still have to kill Diablo, and I don't know if I can with the damage I'm doing. I'm not going to risk it without a skill shrine. Thank God I was able to track one down in the cold plains. And it all came down to this. Will it be enough? Oh my God, thank God it's enough. We did it. This was the single hardest challenge of anything I've done, any challenge run I did. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so happy it was over. So happy. I am now the Lord of Hell after that.
I'm the captain now.
It's enough to turn you into the bad guy. I swear. I actually managed to find another part of Azaras's set. Unfortunately, it has attack and takes damage of 5, which I didn't realize either for the longest time. But cast your eyes into the fire and relive some of that post-traumatic stress. But who cares? We're moving on. The final challenge. Baal himself. 26,500 hit points. An incredible fire resist. But there's a long way to go. But thankfully, even though we've got a long way to go, we can teleport through most of it. And teleport we will. After that, Act 4. And honestly, feeling that I was at the end. And the run was going to have to be abandoned. And do I make a video where I don't complete it? No, that's not me. I'm saying that now. But yeah, I was not going to give up at this point. We're going all the way. He's got a lot of hit points, I'll be honest. I was not sure. He's also got a huge amount of fire resist, which means we're having to do a massive amount more damage on top of that as well. But we're somewhere away from that point at this juncture. Let's get there first and see what the challenges we have before that. Once again, I tell you what, Baal was not necessarily the hardest point in this video. There's more to come, more stress, more misery to come, as you'll see. But the real pleasure, other than those muscly boys getting in the way, is I could teleport through so much of this. And at this point, you can see my mana's up to 265. That's a decent amount of teleports, even just a level 1 teleport, which is quite expensive. I could crack through most of this very comfortably. There we are, Ancient Sway. Part of me thinks, just get out of the way. Let's not overthink it. We heal up a bit. I'm not going to overthink this. Let's go in and see what we're up against. Now we know a lot of this challenge, I think, is going to be Talik, because he doesn't like staying still. Maybe just try in the corner. Oh, yeah, okay. Terrible. So Korlik actually seems very tough. We'll just try it against Murder. I know I should save and quit, but just try it out. Talik is annoying because he moves. Korlik is annoying because he's tough. And Murdoch was annoying because what is he doing hanging around with those other guys? He's the weakest link. What do I need to do? I need to farm. So there's a few failed attempts to try and work out the best way of doing this. I thought the best way would be just to get surrounded and do the old classic of kind of kill the outside of the group. Which, look, you can see worked pretty well. I do have to take a lot of damage during that, which, depending on the mods and the RNG, isn't always the best. This little cubby here, so 2 teleports up, getting to this little spot here, 1 firewall was generally enough to kill absolutely everything. And if there was one that tucked in, he wouldn't last long. Or she. Okay, test your D2 knowledge. Will the sell price change as the product repairs itself? Product. Talking like I'm at work. There you go. Proof. Maybe some of you didn't know the game quite as well as you thought. I actually thought that the sell price would go up, and it didn't. So I'm with you. I'm with you, brother. I love the game, but I still don't know enough about it. Many failed attempts. Patience was a virtue in many of these instances. But moving into a new act, the experience was very, very decent. So look at this. 3 more levels to enjoy, all going to Fire Mastery, up to almost 7,500 on firewall damage. I mean, some of these... The charms, there are a few of them I got, okay? They were just so bad. Normally at this point, you get a few like decent life small charms and a few decent resist ones. Nothing. Cathans. Do not want it. Absolutely pointless. All resist amulets. I mean, at this point... And look, just for everyone's pleasure, I actually completed. Oh, this is how much farming I did. I completed. You can see there. Decent magic find. Actually, the damage isn't bad for normal with the right build. But that's pretty cool to complete a set in normal. That doesn't happen very often. That will be an indicator of how much time and energy and effort, hours spent farming. So yeah, managed to get it all. I think probably at this point you realize the missing ingredient I need. Oh, that is phenomenal. +3 summoning skills. That's what I'm after. I just need a little bit of RNG. +2 there. +1 sorcerer skills. That actually is probably better than what I'm wearing. Although I do have a lot of fire resist that has damage resist. Maybe I'll just hold on to it. Yeah, not good, not good. This is very, very expensive to gamble. Oh, 30% magic find. That is the kind of thing that cheers me up. But still not what we need. Oh my, that is so typical. +3 cold skills. That is really not good. More summoning and a teleport there as well. Very nice. Incredible for a summoner, that. Incredible. But look, skill shrine, we're taking it serious. We've got so much more. I know there's a little spot here where Talik will get stuck and we can take him out. Maybe, is he stuck now? He's not stuck now. What a waste. Close, but not quite. More skill shrines. More, I think the spot is here. We're about to find out. Make sure I've got the right staff out. The other guys are going to be annoying as well. So that's the opportunity. Yeah. And this is what maybe you don't realize about Firewall, is that Firewall's damage is based on 3 kind of parts of the Firewall hitting. So if they're backed up against something, they only sometimes get hit by, especially if it's diagonal, like the wall was there, they're only getting hit by 1/3 of the damage. But this was one of the better runs. And I can't believe it, of all of the people to survive, Maddock taking the absolute piss. I've abandoned the necessity here of the skill shrine because it wasn't so inconsistent. But we have the damage for Korlik. We've more than enough for Maddock. And we've just got to get Talik to just chill out. There. Oh my god. The guy was so frustrating. And this will give you an indicator of how many times I've tried this. Failed attempt after failed attempt, and every time Talik would get in the way, wouldn't stay still, over and over and over again. Failed attempt, failed attempt. It felt like it was just a matter of time. I killed him on pretty much my first try. I just need him to stay in the right position. But this took probably 20 or 30 tries. That's a broad difference between 20 and 30. I've lost count. I've lost how to count. See, maybe there will be a good spot. That's good. Okay, just calm down now. Calm down. Let's get Maddock out of the way. We just need Korlik just to stay chill. And it seems so easy when it's successful, and I could have cut out the many attempts. But in many ways, I want you to appreciate, if I haven't labored enough at this point, how much I've suffered throughout this challenge, then yeah. And what was surprising is I didn't get a level up because I'm level 43. So I got half a level from doing that. It's probably the only time they've done the Ancients on normal and haven't appreciated a level up from them. And these guys, I know I'm not going to have much joy killing all of these, but the experience there, very, very nice. Unfortunately, I do have to save an exit, but I've already grabbed the waypoint at this point. The experience was very, very good, but I was a long way away from the damage I needed.
Approximately 10 hours later.
I kind of wish I was exaggerating that it took 10 hours. It took a long time. Trying to get to level 49 on normal is very, very tough. I tell you that. But yeah, 8,800 damage. And we're back. We are replacing Durga. Thanks, Durga, for all your hard work, but you are not strong enough. I need a new boyfriend. And to be honest, I don't love any of these names. Razan. So they're level 48 now, at least the highly I can get. So there's pretty much 8 levels higher than Durga. So Durga, we're just going to check the damage Durga was doing. So he's doing up to 432. Very decent. Look, thank you so much. Well, we wouldn't be here without him, right? But let's kick him to the curb. Let's make him unemployed. Golzar. That's more like it. Friendship. Over with Durga. Golzar is now my best friend. And we're up to not as much damage as I wanted. It is like core base damage, so it is much better. Why do I need Golzar to help me out? Well, once again, quite significant oversight. Fortunately, we have a fire immune here. I'm very worried as well that Golzar is going to get cursed. If he gets cursed, the Decrepify also weakens him. So he does 50% less damage. I think that's right. And of course, with 50% less damage, he's not going to have enough damage to kill old Colenso. Thank God that wasn't too tough. But it's not like if I'm unsuccessful now, I still have to do that every single time. So I'm hoping this is going to be a one and done. First thing we do here is maybe overthink this. I think if I stood still, they'd all stand still and just shoot me. But I was just too scared at this point of having to go back and do that again. It's actually pretty hard getting here, especially clearing all this area. I cleared the whole area, and it was very, very stressful. Him running towards me like that is stressful. Him running towards me is also stressful. I don't know what possessed these guys. But wave 2 completed. Actually not too bad. And I think I could probably stand still, have them all shoot me, and just put firewalls down. But now Bartek. These guys are just so erratic in their movement. Thankfully, that first time, again, they're very tethered to Bartek. So as long as he's following me, the rest of them should eventually be pulled. And I'm here in the second little chamber that I've cleared out. This might feel a little bit cheap. You can see how much damage I can do to them. They're very, very easy to kill. But I'm just so worried about clipping them. You know, them walking through a firewall as it's about to disappear. And these are absolute classics. Just the way Venom Lords fold around you, it's very easy for them to walk through a firewall. And they've got enough hit points that we could be in real trouble. Slowly but surely, we tease them around the corner. Fire resistance, very decent, by the way. Now, I know, under normal circumstances, you can't easily teleport all the time, as we found out in a previous video. That can be the end of you. And last thing, Jurassic Park. Let's lure these dinosaurs out of it. Again, I think I can probably kill them, but it's just not worth the risk. There's so much prep required just to get to this point, and I still haven't really tested my damage against Baal. At level 49, you think, I haven't done the math. I'll be honest, I didn't really do the maths at every point during this. But here we are. We're up the Worldstone Chamber. One portal, one small step away from the end of this run. Now, I searched everywhere for a shrine of skill. And when I say everywhere, I went through the whole of Act 1. I'm in the jail. I hate the jail. Act 4. Back to Act 3. All the way through Kurast. Even through the jungle. I hate the jungle. All the way through. I went everywhere. I could not find one. I felt this is just fate. You don't need it. Go into the Worldstone Chamber. Be a man. Be a woman. You can do it. I don't know why I'm checking my stuff, just making sure I've got the right one out. He's not in the best location. I've learned already, I don't want that guy against a wall. I want him just slightly away from it. That's almost perfect, dude. I'm not got a cannot be frozen on. I don't need it. Okay, that is very, very disappointing. That is a huge amount of effort for a failure, and I was extremely dejected at that point. But once again, this took, I'm not going to show you because it's the same footage, but this took another 20 minutes just to get here. Got my shrine, and he cursed me. Now, did anyone else realize that he was a curse master that can curse 3 screens away? Because I didn't. I was so cross. So I thought, what am I going to do? I need to maybe get a portal near him. I try fruitlessly. I try again. It's actually beyond the bee, but it's not enough. I end up farming 2 more levels, thinking I don't need a skill shrine. I know 2 more levels in Fire Mastery isn't exactly the equivalent of a skill shrine, but it's close enough. 9,000 damage. Please let it be enough. What can we do? I can gamble. We're still missing one fundamental thing, which will make such a big difference. A circlet. I've got quite a lot of money, but do I have the luck? These aren't what I need. 3 to curses. It's just a matter of time. But if I get bad luck here, I mean, what can you do? I mean, there's all resist there. We are a high enough level. It should be possible. It's a level 45. We can definitely wear it. But we're not going to get it. Look, the money's running out. 3 to poison and bone. I mean, that's the necromancer. Easy class. Lightning skills. I mean, even +2 to fire would be good. Yes! We did it. It's on. It's on. I'm looking at the others. I'm so scared about accidentally selling it there. It's possible. Do 11,000 damage. 11k. I'm walking around town with 11k damage. That has to be enough. Normal difficulty, 11k damage. I still have to go through all of this again. Throne of Destruction. I was going to call him Durga there. Golzar. Golzar, best friend. Exactly. When he gets cursed, restart again. For whatever reason now, I'm showing you the absolute misery that I had to endure. I found a skill shrine. Luckily, I walked past it on my way down this whole way. The Wildstone Chamber. We're there again. What else can I do? But this is it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He's jumped past. Part of me's just checking there, and he even teleports away. He doesn't even want me to check. There were some terrible attempts on the way to this. This took an entire evening of my life just running this. I think, okay, this is it. Portal's in the right place. Didn't find a skill shrine. We don't need it. We're doing 11k damage. He's moved out of the way again. It's unbelievable. This is just the worst. Yeah, trust me, guys. Nothing has made me wanted to quit this game more. I got better and better at running the run. At least I got better at the game. But there were times, even against Lister, I was just getting so overconfident on my ability to clear this through. I've done it so many times at this point. I just knew good spots. I knew I was in no trouble. Even with 11,000 damage, I still couldn't do it every time. Eventually, this run just felt different as soon as I got in here. I open up a portal just where it needs to be. I've crushed my heart 100 times and long since lost the key. My focus is now paramount, but my mind is full of fear. 1,000 tries, but I just need one to make the vision clear. A journey should be challenging to test a person's mettle, but this was far the hardest run since the poison dagger settled. I know I am not perfect, and I know I'd rather rest, but to me a real hero need but dare to try their best. Though this video may be silly, there's still a truth inside. The road ahead is rough and steep, but that's part of every ride. You'll never know just who you are till trials prove you best, and only then can you lay down and know a peaceful rest. Thank you so much for watching the journey. The hardest challenge run I've ever done, but there's more to come. Please like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.